Welcome to Old Iron Machine Works. This video is going to be nothing more than just showing some of the tools that I purchased in 2022 that I've added to the shop. I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos. Work's been crazy busy. Here I'm machining a natural gas compressor valve, and that was always a big part of my day job, machining the valves. And to try to free up some time at work, I've now moved my valve operation to my home shop, and I do them on the side at home. And here you're just seeing a work area I put together just for building the compressor valves. Hopefully I'll do more filming and put out some videos of them, but how many compressor valves does somebody want to see being rebuilt? Right now my Cincinnati lathe is doing just about all the valve work, so I'm trying to spend a little more time on the big Monarch, and the Monarch will be pretty awesome for doing some of the bigger valves. Alright, the next up is a Craigslist find. And right here, I'm using my Skyhook, which is actually for a CA tool holder, and I got it adapted to my DA tool holder. And one came up on Craigslist at a very cheap price. That's actually for a CXA, and I'll be able to use that on my Cincinnati lathe. Here I'm just showing the Skyhook on a CXA tool holder, just verify what size it was. The gentleman I got it from never ever did use the thing, and actually in a pretty nice shape. And then while I was there, I picked up a Diacro number 3 bender that he had at a very good price, and it appeared to be in a really nice shape. Not a finger break, but that's okay. And then while I was also there, I spotted a Beverly shear sitting on the ground, which was a nice shape number 2 Beverly shear. And when I asked him if it was for sale, he said yeah. And when I asked about a price, he said, well, will you give me the same as you gave me for a Skyhook? And I said, of course I will. Here I picked up half a dozen aftermarket CXA tool holders, mainly for the size. They're much larger than the Aloras. They'll accept a much larger tool holder. So for my Cincinnati lathe, where I'm using the CXA, I really like them. They worked out good. They have a really nice finish, and they were pretty reasonable. I picked up this big boring bar a little while back. It's 2.5 inch, and it needs to be finished. Whoever you started it never did finish it, but I needed a tool holder to hold it that would go in a Loris DA tool post. Well, look what I got in the mail. I got my one tool holder. This is how he boxed it up. So I just called him to ask him if he shipped the other one separately, and he said no, there was 2 in the box. Well, you can see here the other one blew out here, and somebody taped the end up. I don't know why people think that they could ship heavy stuff in these boxes without reinforcing them, but he did say that he'll send another one. I've been adding tooling for the Monarch lathe for a while now, and I'll be using the CA Aloris on it. And on eBay, there's a buy it now where a guy had several nice tool holders at what I thought was a very good price. So I ended up buying a set of 8 to start out with, and then I ended up buying a second set of 8. And most of them are the number 1s. I think there was only 1 or 2 that were the number 2s where you can use the boring bars. But anyway, I should have enough tool holders to at least get me going. Well, there's the first group of 8. Second group of 8 came in today. Getting ready to open it. But before I do, I don't know. Sometimes the way people pack heavy stuff, hopefully none fell out. I'll find out quick enough. Ended up being a very nice lot of CA tool holders. I was very happy with them. I enjoy browsing eBay, but when I do browse eBay, I generally put right into search to buy it now because I'm really don't. None of this stuff I absolutely need. I buy this stuff because I can. And with the buy it now, I feel like sometimes you come across opportunities where you can find better deals. If somebody posts something at a cheap price, and that's exactly what this gauge block set was. It was, I thought, very cheap, for what they are, and I just thought it'd be nice to add some more gauge blocks to my collection. Here I'm trying out my new to me Starrett 216 mic on one of the gauge blocks, which I'll show the mic a little more when I'm taking it out of the package. But now this particular one here I've already had. It's a 221 Starrett. I really like them. They're kind of unique on how to read the tints, but there are other videos there out there that talk about how to read them, the way the handles are spring loaded. They're very interesting micrometer. And here's just a Eagle 66 can, which also was pretty reasonable, and it was also a buy it now. Back in 1985, I bought my first lathe. It was a used jet 1024 lathe, and it came with a Michitoyo spool style or tumbler style 0-to-1 mic, which I thought was always kind of cool. And I've always wanted this the model 216 Starrett, but a lot of them that I see on eBay are pretty whooped on or broken plastic. Anyway, that one ended up being a pretty nice shaped one. And here, this is also a buy it now. A 98 6-inch Starrett level that was actually in pretty good shape. It had a couple little nicks on the bottom that I have to stone out, but otherwise pretty nice shape. Here's another buy it now. I had an upcoming job that I really needed to get it for. Actually, that's not the truth. I bought it because it's just way too cute. I knew when I bought it, I knew it was only a 1/2 inch micrometer, which of course the mic's going to be smaller but I guess I didn't expect just how small it was. And I'll show it next to my everyday runner. Like, I think it's Miller Falls, just for the size comparison, you know. But they are definitely cute little things.
And as you see, it doesn't necessarily mean the first person to stop is the winner. All right? All right, you guys shake hands. All right. Are you guys ready? Get set, go.
About the only thing I can say about this is I definitely went in to the competition kind of calm and confident. You know, I had a different technique I was going to try, and basically I got my butt kicked.
It really is amazing the different techniques that people use. Like, it is for sure. All right, we got an indicator going in the park.
See, some people just dive right to the indicator right at the beginning, and some people try to get it right done by
Second indicator coming on.
It's a technique I haven't seen before.
Yeah. Put on the reduced area. Put on that. You're going to be judged on this. You're going to be judged on this surface.
I got her to think A is dead. Oh, he's almost there already, isn't he?
Gary trying a different technique than we've seen before.
Are you going to use an hourglass timer?
Okay.
Wow.
Go down.
I think that was the fastest.
Kyle ended up making it to the final round and lost to a buddy of his.
Okay, let's see
The
it.
numbers don't matter. The
Numbers don't matter.
Don't matter.
Two and a half.
Two, what do you got here?
About 1.5.
Oh, yeah. 1.5.
All right, congratulations. Kyle is moving on to the next round.
Okay, you guys ready? Begin.
Here we got a couple of friends of mine that I'm sure you guys all know if you watch my channel. But we got Tom from Mox Tool on the left and Chuck from Outside Screwball on the right.
What's that, Mark? What did you say? About what? So, Tom, how's your arthritis? Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty.
You're still in it, Chuck. Come on.
Careful, Tom, you're going to lose your moving crew. I think the other guy has gout. That one was funnier. This is supposed to be a target or a bad hit. They're punching too hard.
Is this a full contact sport?
Not yet.
I think they're working on me going for the record right now. Hey, Tom, you're way off, bud. You can see it from here. It was definitely a hard-fought battle between the two of them.
I haven't raised my hand yet. Oh, you gotta raise your hand.
Okay. About 2 turns.
I thought you said 50.
What do you got?
It's under 5 inches. I mean, that's good.
Yep, you got about 1,000 Congratulations.
The winner is?
Tom.
Tom! Come on,
Cherry brown fishing lips.
No.
Good job, Tom. Good job.
Here attending the bash is Jason from Fireball Tools. And here we got on the left Joe Way from Sierra Specialty, Dean Crawford from Arcade Shop, and Yuchel Kim from Woods Creek Workshop. Joe Way from Sierra Specialty had a pretty good selection of tools he brought for the flea market portion, swap meet portion of the bash. And this 12-inch Model 98 was an item that he had that I purchased from him. Excellent shape, as you can see. Now the 98s are probably your more common levels, and I think I got all but the 8-inch right now. But they have a 5 thousandths per foot per line on the vial accuracy rating, where when you step up to the 199, which I'm grabbing right now, and it's one that I picked up from a friend of mine not too long ago. But on the 199s per foot, each line is a 0.5 thousandths. So you can definitely chase your tail a lot when you're using one of these. So here on the 199, each line is a 0.5 thousandths per foot out. Here we got a Brown and Sharp mag that I think could be handy on one of the surface grinders. Here we got a set of Blue Point snap ring pliers, which Blue Point is basically sold by Snap-on. Tom from Mox Tool is known for always setting up a pretty good table with some nice equipment, and a lot of this right here, you know, came from Tom's table. From Ox Tool. Another gentleman had a couple boxes. Here's just a box of some reams, another box of some cutters, and then there's another box with some little stubby drill bits. And normally when somebody's selling pretty reasonable, I'll just ask for a price for the whole box. You generally get a much better deal just by buying the whole lot. Most of these stubby drill bits pretty much all look like they were brand new or slightly used. Quite some time ago, I was talking to my friend Tom at Ox Tool, and the subject of machinery handbooks came up, and I actually mentioned to him that I've never ever owned one. All the years of machining, and I've never had a machinery handbook. Well, anyway, Tom acquired this one, and at the bash, he gave it to me. So my first machinery handbook. So that kind of leads into my Gerstner toolbox. I bought this Gerstner a while back from an older gentleman that acquired it from a friend of his. When his friend had passed away, it went to him, and all he did is kept some watch parts in it. Well, this is an all original 1960s vintage, and you cannot find this stain anywhere on any of the felt. It's just a beautiful cabinet. This is not even cleaned up. I haven't even cleaned it up yet. So I haven't been putting anything in it. I did not want to start messing it up until I got some other kind of protector that I can put in the drawers. So basically, the book from Tom is the very first item that's actually going into the Gerstner. So I knew I wanted to find something that I could line the drawers with to protect the original felt. And I happened to go into work one morning, and the boss's wife has a leather love seat that she asked if I could get it into the dumpster. I knew it was garbage day, and the garbage truck was going to be there not too long. So how long was it going to take me to skin this old cow? So anyway, I took the blade and just started cutting off sections of it. And I think it'll make a really nice material to line the drawers in. The bottom one is fake leather, but all the other is, is real leather. Anyway, I think it'll work out okay. We'll find out. Okay, let me get back on track. I'm back on some of the stuff that I got at the Bar Z Bash get together, and a gentleman had a whole bunch of big slitting blades, and they were covered with a few coats of like a cosmoline tile material. So I just put them in the washer and just to get them all cleaned up, and now I'm just spraying some other anti-rust on them. The aluminum, I always set the aluminum underneath the blades, so if they move around in the wash cabinet, it doesn't mess up the cutting edges. I think I ended up getting either 6 or 8 blades that I got all in the box there. For my regular viewers, I'm sure you guys already know Stan at Bar Z Industrial has been doing hot shot ovens. Well, he's passed the baton down over to American Rotary, which American Rotary is now selling the hot shot. And at the Bar Z Bass, they were having a discounted little sale on some. So I decided I needed to bring one home. But what I need is a cabinet for it. So I found this on Craigslist. It's a 2-drawer Lista. You can see they didn't want very much for it. And so I went ahead and picked it up. I actually gave him more than his asking price. I told him I was still more than happy with it. But it did need a little bit of work. And here you can see where I've already reinforced it. I will have a future video showing more in depth about it, but the weight of it just kind of was bending the bottom where the wheels bolted up to it. So I straightened it all out, reinforced it, and now everything's pretty much just ready to paint, and I'll have a nice little cabinet for the heat treat oven. Next up is a Bay Area Craigslist find, which was a Delta 17-inch DP 600 drill press with the production table, and they were advertising it really cheap, so I thought it was worth going and getting. And while I was there, they had quite a bit of other tools scattered around here and there, so I grabbed a pretty decent selection. Everything on the table is what I grabbed to buy. And at the time, he also had some material in the back, and I gave $70 for everything on the table, and then all the material that you'll see in the back of the truck. Part of the $70 tool buy was an old extension cord, aluminum, brass, steel, stainless steel, more aluminum. Anyway, it was a pretty good buy. This next one was probably the best estate sale I went to all year, and it was literally less than 5 minutes from my house. My daughter-in-law actually sent me a link that she seen on Craigslist to the sale, and I kind of kid around because my daughter also sent me a link, but she sent it to me a day after the sale. But anyway, I pretty much filled the back of the truck with stuff. Here's all good American brand sockets, which you could see on the paper. I did not give very much for them. Here we have what I call a sun and truing hone. And the way the truing hones work is you got two stones and two guide pads, and they're designed where they mechanically move out at the same rate, and they're very awesome for taking a egg-shaped hole and making it round. Here I'm just showing a while back I was working on a boat strut that the guy needed me to machine the new bushing, but we had an egg-shaped hole in the strut, and I told him before I machined the bushing I wanted to try to get the hole back to round. So here, you can see where I'm using a truing hone to accomplish that, and then you just get a good measurement. And here I'm just machining the strut bushing. Now, Delta Bearing is probably about 20 minutes from Rio Vista, and I've been dealing with them since probably the late 70s. I'm not sure exactly, how long they've been in business, but. And then here we got a Milwaukee saw that it actually looked like maybe it was used once. I mean, it looked in great shape, and the price was cheap. Next, they had a couple bags and a big tub with just a bunch of miscellaneous rigging material. Here we have a brand new winch cable, which I think I'll put on the winch that's on my dump trailer. And a bunch of miscellaneous straps. These are made where you just spin that nut off, swivel one of the side plates around to where you can drop the cable in when you need to split the cable. A lot of the prices didn't mean anything. I think I bought both lights for $5, and I knew I couldn't buy two of the bulbs for $5. Don't remember exactly what I gave for the whole box of gloves, but I knew just one pair of those gloves right there would have cost me more than I gave for the whole box. I got an upcoming project with my daughter Adelie where we're going to be doing some welding, and that's the only pair of gloves that was actually fairly small. So they'll be perfect for my daughter. And they had some hardwood standing up in the back of the garage that I went ahead and threw on. I think they were like $2 a board. I don't remember exactly what I gave for these, but I do remember giving her more than she was asking. When she gave me a price, I thought, well, it's worth more than that in scrap aluminum. And someday I'll come up with a project, some kind of windmill or something I'll use them on. I think I gave $5 for this box, and it had a whole bunch of paint pens, and then some mechanical pencils, and some number 2 pencils. And some of the paint pens I've already taken to work and been using them at work, and they seem to be working fine, not all dried up or anything. Here they wanted $30 for everything in the box. Well, that was a no-brainer. If you've ever bought any Victor torch setup stuff, you know that's quite a bargain. It had an old cutting head. This one right here in my hand, that's a little newer one. It looked to be in beautiful shape, just sitting around not being used, and you know, a little tarnished up, but it doesn't look like it had any use on it at all. And there's a brand new one that clearly was never used. That's a little newer style 315. It has the blowbacks built right into it. And this is one of the heavy duty 310 bodies that has the bigger valve and the bigger handle. And that's the body you want to use when you use a larger rosebud. Here's an older style 310, which is still good for running the bigger rosebuds. That's a standard rosebud that normally would come in your journeyman set that you could run with a 315 body. And to show you the difference, your 315 body are shorter. And most of the time, you know, you don't want to use the 315 when you're using a big rosebud. There's a larger rosebud. And that rosebud is what you want to use on the 310 body. Now, just about every one of these torch tips here are in perfect shape, if even used at all. When I was saying one of these tips would cost as much as I paid for the whole box, I think you could easily spend 30 bucks for a good tip. And the majority of all these tips are either new or perfect shape. They also had a torch set up with a 315 body with just a tip on it, a really nice 50-foot hose, and it was hooked up to a 4.5 acetylene and a full-size oxygen. And I told her I really did not need it at all, and she wanted me to have it so bad, she practically gave it away. She just wanted it gone. Everything that was being sold was in a garage, and pretty much everything in the garage was for sale. So I was kind of looking in every little nook and cranny, and on the side of the garage on a nail was this 6-foot sterret, you know, kind of hanging up on the side, out of sight. And it's not the best shape in the world, but still usable. They had all these taps and dies and miscellaneous stuff in another box, and I think they wanted 20 bucks for the whole box, which I thought was plenty cheap enough. So I went ahead and grabbed it. Later I found out, you know, after I started unloading the stuff, is there was 2 cases of brand new master locks that were all keyed the same on the bottom of the box. But still, for an entire box for 20 bucks was pretty cheap. So whenever I need 12 master locks that are all keyed the same, I'm ready to go. Okay, by now I got a pretty good pile on the ground going as far as stuff that I was going to get from the estate sale. And when it got to the hand tools and miscellaneous tools, I started asking them what they wanted. And that box there, I think I gave like $8 for the entire box with the hole saws. And they said that all the other items, they would like to get $1 a piece, but the more I bought, the cheaper the stuff got. And when I say $1 a piece, I mean everything else practically in there, you know, was less than $1. So I just started making a pile and let them just add it up at the end and tell me what I owed them. Just for an example, that one pair of pliers right there goes for about $60. Here we have an old ridge reamer. Back in the day, it was really common to always have a pretty good sized ridge from the wear of the piston rings. And you just set that down in a hole, adjust it up, and when you backed it out, you know, the rollers would follow the cylinder, and then you'd have a cutter that would cut the top ridge off in order to get the pistons out without busting things up. But anyway, I'll probably never use it. I just thought it was pretty cool. And just a whole bunch of miscellaneous. Everything's US made tool. There's a pretty cool crimper. Back in 1981, when I went to work for a tractor dealership as a field mechanic, is when I first started buying a lot of tools. And of course, back then it was Snap-on and Mac guys came around every week. But we were also a proto tool dealer, so we sold quite a bit of protos, which I bought quite a bit of protos also. And the gentleman, you know, that had all this stuff, he had a fair amount of proto stuff. Here's a photo tack that has the classic old foam that deteriorates and goes bad. Now, one of the wrenches that I bought was this Proto one that I paid less than $1 for. That's broken. You can see where it's cracked. And I thought, okay, who warranties Proto? I haven't had to warranty a Proto tool in a long time. And I go online and I find where Granger warranties Proto tools. Here's this Snap-on one. I bought an original Proto set probably 40 years ago, and then about 25 years ago I bought a Snap-on set of these wrenches. So anyway, I like the wrenches. Well, I went online and found that Granger warranties Proto. Well, when I call them up and I tell them what I got, they're like, no problem, we'll send you one. Anyway, this is the wrench they sent me in place of the Proto. So even though you overpay for Snap-on tools, there's chances are Snap-on's always gonna be around and still have quality stuff. Moral to the story is I'm not gonna abuse my Proto wrenches that I have. Here I've cleaned up the big rosebud tip that I bought, and I actually took it to work as I was going to try it out, use it, and the O-rings were very hard and brittle, as you can see. So the first thing I did is serviced it up, cleaned it up a little bit, and put new O-rings on it. The two bottles I bought, the full-size oxygen and the 4.5 acetylene, were actually Airco tanks. Airgas bought out Airco years ago, and the tanks that I got ended up being rental tanks, but Airgas said that they would swap them for true smooth ring ownership tanks, which means a smooth ring ownership you can take anywhere and exchange it for new. And anyway, I wanted to take advantage of that, but I knew I had half acetylene and half oxygen tank left in it, and I didn't want to just go and turn it in and use the gas, so I actually took the bottles to work and this torch, and I actually used up the acetylene and the oxygen before I turned the bottles in. Here I got the one torch setup closest to me, sitting next to the other 310 that belongs to the company I work for. And here, the new one I bought, new to me. I'm just firing it up, and I'm going to heat up these hubs in order to get them off. These hubs are on the big gearboxes that I rebuilt at work. Now these are the two bottles I bought at the estate sale, full-size oxygen and a 4.5 acetylene. And when I went to swap them for the ownership, I went ahead and went to a number 5 acetylene and then the full-size oxygen, and they didn't charge me any additional fee from going from the 4.5 to the 5 acetylene, which was pretty cool. Okay, I saved the best for last. This is my latest grandson, born about 2 months ago. Anyway, I appreciate you taking the time to check out the video. Thumbs up are great. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch.